I think that this match could have gone either way. I don't think there was a huge shift in momentum at any point.
In my last video I mentioned that Eala had also entered the doubles draw at Indian Wells, teaming up with American teenager Iva Jovic. I called it a subplot, one more layer on an already crowded tournament narrative. That subplot is now closed. Eala and Jovic were eliminated in the round of 32 by Hailey Baptiste and Yelena Ostapenko, 6-2, 6-2 in 1 hour. It was not close. And there is more worth examining here than the scoreline alone, because this match had context, history, and a fairly clear illustration of why doubles and singles are fundamentally different sports. The setup: Eala came into this match riding the highest wave of her Indian Wells campaign. She had just reached a new career-high singles ranking of 28 in the world following her 3-set survival against Diana Yastremska. 2 hours and 43 minutes of grinding, physical tennis that included 6 deuces and 4 match points in the final game. She had earned that win through sheer competitive tenacity, and with Goff waiting in the next round, her singles focus was entirely justified. Jovic is 18 years old, ranked inside the top 20 in doubles, and genuinely accomplished in the format. She understands net play, court positioning, and partnership dynamics in ways that take most players years to develop. The friendship between them is real, and on paper a pairing of 2 young players with significant upside looked like it could produce an interesting run. Instead they ran into Baptiste and Ostapenko on a day when that team was operating at full capacity. The opposition, Hailey Baptiste, has been competing on the WTA Tour for years. Smart, consistent, difficult to beat in any format, and the kind of player who treats every point as something to be earned rather than assumed. She does not give you anything freely. Yelena Ostapenko won the French Open in 2017 at 20 years old, coming through a draw that nobody had penciled her into winning, and has been ranked as high as number 5 in the world in singles. She is also a former US Open doubles champion. Her game is built on flat, aggressive ball striking that does not leave opponents time to set up, shots that come off her racket with a pace and trajectory that compress reaction time to a level that exposes any hesitation at the net immediately. And there is a specific narrative thread here worth acknowledging. Ostapenko was one of the 3 Grand Slam champions Eala eliminated during her Miami wildcard run in March 2025, the tournament that changed her career trajectory. Players at this level do not forget losses like that. Tennis has a habit of arranging reunions, and this one happened across the doubles net with Ostapenko clearly in no mood for a repeat outcome. What actually happened from the opening games? Baptiste and Ostapenko established control and never surrendered it. Their chemistry was visible in the way they moved. Coverage decisions made without hesitation, net positioning coordinated instinctively, communication between points concise and purposeful. When Ostapenko was at the net, she was finishing volleys with a kind of clean aggression that leaves no room for a counter. When Baptiste served, she was placing the ball precisely where the subsequent point construction required. Eala and Jovic were a half step behind throughout. The timing on their net approaches was slightly off. The decision-making on when to poach was fractionally hesitant. Against a team operating at Baptiste and Ostapenko's level on that particular day, those margins are the entire difference between competitive and one-sided. The first set lasted approximately 25 minutes. The second set saw Eala and Jovic briefly pull back to 4-2, a moment where the competitive instinct that had carried Eala through the Yastremska match flickered into view, before Baptiste and Ostapenko closed it out in the next 2 games. Match over in an hour. Why none of this should concern anyone: 3 reasons, stated plainly. First, doubles is not what Eala is here for. She is a singles player. Her ranking, her prize money, her career development, all of it flows from her singles results. Doubles represents additional court time, an opportunity to build relationships with other players, and an occasional chance to pick up extra points and prize money. It does not represent a meaningful indicator of where her primary game is heading. A first-round doubles exit at Indian Wells while simultaneously reaching a career-high singles ranking and advancing to the round of 16 in the main draw is not a story about setback. It is a story about appropriate priorities. Second, they lost to a genuinely formidable team. Ostapenko has won Grand Slam titles in both formats. She knows how to compete on the biggest stages the sport offers, and her flat, aggressive game translates particularly well to doubles precisely because the short points and sharp angles reward ball strikers who don't give opponents time to react. Losing to a team anchored by Ostapenko when your own partnership is still developing its chemistry is simply the expected outcome more often than not. Third, this result completes Jovic's entire Indian Wells campaign. She had already been eliminated in singles by Colombia's Camila Osorio earlier in the week. She is 18 years old. Every match she plays at this level, including the ones that end quickly, is adding to an experience base that will compound across the next decade of her career. Competing alongside Eala, even for a single match, strengthens a partnership that could produce something more substantial at future events. The doubles chapter at Indian Wells 2026 is closed. 1 hour 6-2 6-2, against a strong and well-prepared team. The singles chapter is still very much open. Eala is through to the round of 16 at a WTA 1000 event for the first time in her career, ranked 28 in the world and playing the best tennis of her life at the tournament she has been building toward all season. That is the story. And it is nowhere near finished.